Hi, welcome aboard. We've got a full show for you today. A little later we'll be looking at the brilliant Metridge range of spanners which are adaptable to various sizes of nuts and hexagons. We'll also be revisiting one of the most popular segments we've ever done with Nev Howard, and that involves the moon and tide chart, in which Nev shows you the exact times of the moon phases and of the tide to fish with the most success. But first up, it's no secret that I admire people who generate values for themselves in society. People who invest their own time and their resources in the establishment of a business and thereby create values for society in the form of quality products that they produce, employment, of course, and also values for themselves. Now, John Haines is a beacon of that type of activity in the marine industry. John has been in the industry almost all of his life. He combines a brilliance as far as the design of his boats is concerned, particularly in hull performance, with superb presentation and finish, and more importantly, an extremely astute business ability. Now, this allows John to produce boats which are of great use and of great value to the people who use them, which offer, as I said, higher hull performance than most of their contemporaries, and also a higher degree of safety and particularly comfort and utility as far as the interior layout is concerned. These boats are run better than most of their contemporaries, so they're a little more economical to run. So the advantages not only are sort of obvious, but they are also subtle as far as the Haines Signature range of boats is concerned. John employs around 30 people in his factory in Wacol in Brisbane, and as a result of his long experience, and it's a family business, by the way, his two sons are also involved in running the business. And as a result of John's innovation and his ability to hang in over the long haul through some particularly difficult times, particularly in the late 80s and early 90s, and continue to build absolute top quality products which not only sell here but overseas, John is one of Australia's most successful boat manufacturers and designers. In fact, I would rank the Haines Signature organisation among the top 5 trailer boat manufacturers in the world. And that really isn't too much to say, because our overall Australian industry comes up among the top 2 or 3. So the products of John Haines have gone right through the problems of recession and downturns. They steamed through the 80s and did extremely well, and those resources are still being used to develop new models in an extremely soft market, and that's a very brave thing for anybody to do. Now, as we'll see a little later in this segment, John has his finger on the pulse of market trends. He knows exactly what his customers require and need, and he achieves that by intensive market surveys right around Australia and also overseas. And he always seems to come up with exactly the right boat at the right time, combined with a degree of hull performance and overall presentation which is truly superb. Now, the boat you're looking at now is the new Signature 650F, which is a fishing boat. It has been designed with the keen, semi-professional and small professional Australian fishermen in mind, including people who like to go light offshore game fishing. The boat, as you see from these pictures, performs absolutely beautifully. It has all of the hull performance attributes that we've come to expect from Signature. Let's take a close look at the way in which the inside is set up. As I said at the beginning, the Haines organisation, John and his two sons, John Jr. and Greg, are very good at identifying market trends and at building boats which exactly fit into those market trends, not only from the point of view of their layout, but also the overall size. Now, the 650 is obviously a fishing boat, and in most cases when you go out to buy a boat to use for fishing, you buy the basic boat and then you have to go to all the trouble yourself of fitting the boat up to suit your particular requirements. Again, an extensive survey has been done on fishing boats of around about 6.5 metres all over Australia, and virtually all of the basic requirements are incorporated in the boat in their right position. Now, moving from aft forward, the port aft quarter contains a live bait tank which is probably big enough almost to have a spar in it, so there's plenty of room for live bait. In the centre there's a nylon sheet table, the top of which is a table. The hinge has been modified so that you roll it over into the outboard well, and the underneath then becomes quite a large and very useful bait board. On the other side, on the starboard side, there is a battery compartment which is accessible both from behind the seat and from in the top. That contains 2 batteries. They're well up off the floor, out of any possibility of being sloshed with water. Now, the cockpit is totally self-draining. In the case of this fishing boat, it has a moulded in non-skid pattern on the floor, which is very, very useful and very efficient at stopping you from slipping. And it is totally self-draining with scuppers which don't allow the water to come back in when you stop suddenly or when you're in a slop. There are huge cavernous moulded stowage compartments down each side, and they've been laid out so that they can be set up in a variety of different ways. There are bosses moulded into them which will take horizontal shelves, which will take vertical bulkheads, which can be made again out of nylon and cut out to hold fishing rods, etc. So that part of the boat is variable and can be put together in any way the particular customer desires. And that sort of feedback comes from dealers all around Australia back to the factory, and the boat is built according to the customer specifications. They also can take large doors so that they can double up as dry stowage compartments. Now, the driver's position, the steering position, features seats that are adjustable for length, which is going to make me very happy because I like to drive long arm, and very few boats are set up for that. The instrument array is most unusual. It's the very latest. It has white dials with black numbers, which is a very refreshing change. And there's a large compartment for the fish finder, GPS, etc., and radio down in front of the driver's knees. Again, easy to read, accessible, and well and truly protected. The steering system is also set up so that the wheel will tilt, and that makes it a lot more comfortable when you're driving standing up. And in this boat, a lot of standing up driving will be done because, of course, the driver will be fishing and trolling. On the passenger side, there are large shelved storage compartments on either side of the 2 front seats, the drivers and the passengers. There are 3 shelves in those, which of course gives you plenty of storage. And up forward, there's a full marine toilet, an extremely long V berth, very, very comfortable inside. The centre lifts out so that it forms a V berth. There's an infill in it, in other words. Large shelves down either side, and the overall cabin is lined with carpet, which makes it a very comfortable haven. If the seas are rough, if you've got mum and the kids with you, there's somewhere for them to feel comfortable and secure. As far as the superstructure is concerned, this boat features a stainless steel targa with rocket launchers on it. All of the stainless steel work is now done in the Signature factory, so that every single piece of ancillary stainless steel equipment is fitted exactly to each individual boat. There are rod holders all the way around the boat. Access to the foredeck is through quite a large protected hatch in the top of the cabin, which gives you plenty of reach so that you can handle the anchor without actually having to get outside the boat. There is no access around the side of the boat, and there's a large cathead, stainless steel bow rails with stowage for reef anchors, etc., reef and sand anchors. Anchor handling and handling of this boat when you're mooring up or anchoring up really is very easy. Now, the underfloor area of the 650 is also very unusual and again state of the art. There are 2 large moulded compartments which actually are a part of the overall interior liner and floor mould. The aft one is sealed with a special joint in the lid and a special liquid petroleum sealant. It becomes a large capacity fuel tank. The forward one can either be used as a fuel tank or as a fish kill tank. Again, extremely large capacity. It is a tour de force. It's smaller sister, the 600 F1, a couple of categories of boat of the year last year, and I confidently predict that this boat will go very close to doing the same this year. It certainly takes our prize for boat of the year as far as the degree to which it has fulfilled its design specifications are concerned. Now, boats convey a certain feel, and when you get a bit of experience, you can, running along in a boat, you can feel whether it's happy in certain sea conditions or whether it isn't. And this particular boat impressed me very much because her motion in a seaway at any speed felt to me to be just exactly right. And for that reason, I was a little puzzled to notice a pair of trim tab operating buttons on the dash of the boat. And I asked John Haines about them, and he said that he installed them because he wanted to get a greater degree of control over the boat in various running modes, and he anticipated that being a fishing boat, it may be running along with people over on one side, and he installed the trim tabs so that he could compensate for any drift in lateral trim that may be caused by asymmetric weight location. Surprisingly enough, at no time during the entire shooting day, which by the way was for a brand new signature brochure, did he have to use the trim tabs. So obviously my impressions of the way in which the hull runs were right, and she doesn't need that adjustment to lateral trim. So standard boats won't be released with trim tabs because they're quite simply not needed. Now, Modern Boating magazine comes out with their selections for Boat of the Year in the June issue. It will be very interesting to see where the Signature 650F fits. We'll be back right after this break.